Finally, he muttered to a junior doctor. They're realizing who keeps this place running. With that same inflated pride, he pushed open the door to the ward where his patient was waiting. The atmosphere inside was unlike anything Harris had expected. Instead of the submissive old man he had dismissed the night before, Judge Bryant was sitting upright in his bed, his frail frame now cloaked in an unmistakable aura of authority. His eyes, sharp and unwavering, locked onto Harris the moment he entered. For the first time in years, Harris faltered, his rehearsed arrogance clashing against an authority far greater than his own. The silence in the room was suffocating, broken only by the faint tick of the wall clock. "Daughter, Harris," Judge Bryant said at last, his voice calm but weighted with iron. "I listened to every word you spoke yesterday. I watched how you treated those around you. Your arrogance, your cruelty, your disregard for dignity, they were on full display." Harris blinked, caught off guard, his mouth opening slightly as though to protest, but no words came out. It was dawning on him now, too late, that this was not a patient to belittle, but a man who had the power to strip him of everything he held dear. The judge's words were not loud, yet they carried the force of a gavel striking wood. "This hospital is meant to heal, not to humiliate. You believe your title shields you, but in truth, it exposes you." Harris shifted uncomfortably, his arrogance draining with every passing second. The staff who had gathered outside the door could hear enough to understand what was happening. The untouchable Dr. Harris was being dismantled. Not with anger, but with justice. The tension in the room was unbearable as Judge Bryant's words cut deeper than any scalpel. Dr. Harris stood frozen, his face pale, the usual smirk gone. For years, he had believed himself immune to consequences, untouchable within the walls of St. Mary's Hospital. But now, confronted by the one man whose judgment could not be escaped, Harris's mask began to crack. The silence that followed was louder than his earlier insults, wrapping around him like chains he couldn't break free from. Finally, Judge Bryant spoke again, his tone unshaken. "Medicine is not about power, it is about service. You stripped this woman of her dignity in front of me, and in doing so, you revealed your own weakness." He shifted his gaze toward Angela, who stood just inside the doorway, her hands clenched nervously. His eyes softened as he added, "Strength is not measured by the volume of your voice, doctor, but by the compassion in your actions." The words struck the room like thunder, a truth that could not be ignored. Harris tried to protest, his voice trembling. "With respect, Judge, you misunderstand." But the words faltered, collapsing under the weight of his own guilt. Everyone in the room could see it. The once commanding doctor was unraveling, his authority slipping through his fingers. He looked smaller now, diminished not by age or sickness, but by his own cruelty being laid bare before an audience he could no longer intimidate. Judge Bryant's verdict was swift but devastating. "You will no longer serve in this hospital."